compilation.
Next, Alyssa fights for a life outside the spotlight.
You know, you become an adult. You signed a contract when you were 11. Should that contract still hold up?
And later, she matches wits with TV's Queen of Mean.
You're gonna have a tough time finding a job with your attitude.
Didn't stop you any.
You know, that's what you ideally want. You want actors cutting up, you want actors, you know, giving each other the needle, that type of thing.
When Lifetime's intimate portrait of Alyssa Milano continues. You're watching Lifetime's intimate portrait of Alyssa Milano. By 1991, 18-year-old Alyssa Milano was facing a crossroads. She had already spent 7 seasons on Who's the Boss, and although she loved the work, she was ready to try new things, like college.
I realized that maybe college was an important thing for me to do. And I asked to be let go of the show so that I could pursue, you know, an academic career in something. And they wouldn't let me out of my contract.
Are you crazy? What are you talking about? We have to be able to give her this. There was 1 more year left to the show, and they felt let her get through this season, and then the show will be over, and she can do what she wants to do.
You know, you become an adult. You signed a contract when you were 11. Should that contract still hold up?
Alyssa had no choice but to fulfill the obligation she had made to the show 7 years earlier.
What I'd like to say about the decisions we make for our children at 11 is that it's still going to stand for when they're 18 to 21, guys. So we have to be really careful, because we did help Alyssa sign her life away.
So the last year I came back and did it. That was basically it. It wasn't really a big battle. It was just like, can I go to college? No. Okay. Just thought I'd ask.
In April of 1992, Who's the Boss came to the end of its run. For the cast, it was a time of mixed emotions.
There was, I think, from some people, relief, and I think from other people, some real sadness and what was going to happen now. And I think it was, I think Alyssa was fine about it. I really do.
For the most part, I was excited. I mean, it's hard to do anything from 11 to 19 years old. You have the attention span of a gnat during those years. I was ready. I was ready to move on, definitely.
That was the way she was. And I know she was also sad in a certain way, because we had become a very tight family.
I knew you'd get married before I did.
I'm so glad you were here, Dad.
Hey, just because I gave you away, don't mean you're not still mine.
But I bawled my eyes out that last tape night. Uncontrollable, thought I was gonna puke bawling. Snot, the whole 9 yards.
Catch.
With the end of her television series, Alyssa decided to forego college in order to face perhaps the greatest challenge of her career, making the transition from child star to working actor.
With the child actors, it's just the casualty rate is enormous. I mean, there's just very few who are able to make that leap. The baggage that's associated with that is something that's a big obstacle to overcome.
Once they love you as a little girl, they don't really want to see you going out on dates or getting married or stuff like that. It's hard to make that transition.
I think obviously I was aware of that possibility. I don't see how I couldn't have been, because it was such a recurring thing in every child star's career that there's a point where it's just over.
She was trying to find herself now. You know, how do I really assert myself in the same field, what she loves, but to do a new thing?
I thought I'd give it a shot. If it didn't work out, I'd try something new. You know, it wasn't live or die. You know, it was just, I'm gonna live and figure out what it is that I want to do.
Alyssa's first breakthrough role came when she was cast as a homeless teen opposite Will Smith and Lara Flynn Boyle in the independent film Where the Day Takes You.
They didn't quite know where to put me in that movie. I originally auditioned for Lara Flynn Boyle's role, and I think they were afraid to take the risk on, you know, the sitcom kid, but they were nice enough to give me a smaller role in it, and I had a great time doing it.
Alyssa's performance was solid enough to get her noticed for a very high-profile part. At the time, the scandal surrounding Amy Fisher was riveting the nation, and Alyssa was thrilled to be cast as the unstable Long Island teen opposite Jack Scalia in Casualties of Love.
There's nothing grittier than playing Amy Fisher. And my Casualties of Love was actually the story from the Buttafuoco's point of view, which made Amy totally psycho. So it was the best one to do, too, because I got to be totally psycho.
I thought she was extraordinary. I think that's some of the best stuff that you can possibly do. I mean, to do something that is so out of character, so away from Samantha on Who's the Boss, and I think it really refocused her as an actor in people's eyes. Brilliant movie.
Next, Alyssa gets to play in the big leagues.
First day of work, Sean Penn sat in my eye line all morning, which was, horribly intimidating. It's like, keep it together, keep it together.
And later, she charms a whole new generation of fans.
It's the first time Duke and I have gone fishing in years.
When Lifetime's intimate portrait of Alyssa Milano returns. Back to Lifetime's intimate portrait of Alyssa Milano. By 1995, 21-year-old Alyssa Milano had taken her child star status and translated it into steady work. She became one of the industry's go-to girls in the television movie genre, appearing in Candles in the Dark, The Surrogate, and the direct-to-video release Poison Ivy 2. But she really had a chance to shine when director James Foley cast her in his film, Fear, opposite Mark Wahlberg and Reese Witherspoon.
It was a role that I really fought for, that I auditioned like 4 or 5 times for, and I earned it. It wasn't something that was given to me because of any sort of hype that was around my name or because I was a child star.
What I loved about her was that she was so damn ambitious in the best sense of that word, and humble, had absolutely zero expectations of trading in her celebrity for the right to have a part.
The irony of it was that I had never read the full script until I was on the plane going to Vancouver to make it. And now I have a weird superstition that when I really want movies, it sounds weird because you should read the whole script, but I won't read the script.
Following the release of Fear, acclaimed director Robert Downey cast her in his project, Hugo Pool, in 1997. When the full cast was assembled, Alyssa starred alongside Kathy Moriarty, Malcolm McDowell, Sean Penn, and Robert Downey Jr.
Well, I don't be known about town as an ex-murderer.
Not to me, pal.
Half of that movie was improv, which was an incredible experience. You get major chops when you're ad-libbing with Robert Downey Jr. You're just like, what did he just, okay, what, oh God, okay.
Can you give me a lift?
Where to?
Half a mile or so. I just got in my house to do something big time. Then I'm double split with you.
Hey, how come you're not in jail?
I was. For like a little while. Now I'm out on bail. Thank God it's Los Angeles.
Every time I've seen her, I always pay attention. She's got a earthy, down-home realness. I mean, you feel like you could live next door or be your best friend. At the same time, she's got what I think is the requisite screen glamour.
Alyssa was both gaining confidence and getting some well-deserved attention for her work in film. But when she got a call from one of the television industry's most prolific producers, she felt the time might be right to make a return to series television.
We needed somebody else on Melrose, a new character, and we brought her in 1997.
Erin had been a fan of mine for a while, and it was so incredibly endearing and cute. And I liked the character. She was, quintessential Melrose, campy, fun.
At the time, the Melrose Place cast included Heather Locklear, Lisa Rinna, Thomas Calabro, Andrew Shue, and Jack Wagner. Alyssa Milano was definitely the new kid on the block.
It was kind of like jumping on a moving train, They'd already had their friendships and their whole thing, so I was like the new kid at school.
She was pretty incredible because she just came in with a smile on her face and like she was at home.
She's an old pro, and so, one set probably looks much like the other to her. And, she's stared into a lot of men's eyes, and so mine weren't very much different, I don't think.
Alyssa played bad girl Jennifer Mancini, sister to Thomas Calabro's character Michael. From her very first episode, audiences loved her.